When you guys went and got Noah, what did you guys sort of see on tape that you really liked from him?
Well, he's a good athlete, good route runner. He had to improve his run blocking, and he's worked hard on that, and he's definitely improved from spring to now. So he's doing a good job, and he's learning as he goes and getting better every day.
Do you have a guy that you sort of view as the leader in that room, or the most likely starter at this point?
Well, David Clement is probably the leader in the room. He's probably the most experienced. He's been around in our offense for 3 years now. So he knows the offense inside and out. He's very good in the run game. Knows all the blocking scheme, knows all the communication that goes on with the offensive line. So he's definitely probably the most experienced and probably the leader in our group.
I should have been more precise with my wording. Do you see him as the likely starter?
We have different personnel groupings, so we have different starters for different situations. So I can't say that nobody's a definite starter. If I need on a certain play to get the job done, I have a way that I can get those guys in the game to do those jobs that they're good at.
When you look at Elijah and Dante as the young guys that you're kind of looking forward to kind of be the next tight ends in this program, what have you seen from them this offseason, and what is it that you want to see them continue to improve on these next few weeks again?
I've seen great strides with both guys. I mean, Elijah's gotten stronger, he's gotten bigger. I know when he first got here, he was 216. He's now like 251. So he's gotten bigger and definitely stronger in the weight room. And he's learning all the things that we do in the pass game and the run game and getting better at them. And in certain situations, he's very good. Dante is gaining confidence every day. He's getting bigger also. He's 230 now. So, he's one of those guys that is growing up right in front of your eyes. And he has the ability to run and make plays. And he's also improving in the run game and blocking.
There's a lot more experience on the coaching staff and in the quarterback room itself. How have you noticed that that's maybe had practice, maybe running more efficiently, or maybe things you could do now that you couldn't in the past?
I think we had a good coaching staff before also, but I think this coaching staff is, like you said, it's an experienced group, and we all get along well. I mean, it's one of those deals where there's great vibe in the staff room, when we're in there, and kind of clicks. So, but the experience factor is important. When you get in games and you get in big games, and you got to make key decisions and do things in certain situations, you can always fall back on that experience. You never have too much of that. So I think our coaching staff is one of our big traits here.
You had Dennis helping you out a lot in the tight ends room last year. What's been the adjustment with him moving back to his natural group with the running backs?
Well, first of all, Dennis has done a great job with the running back so far, but Dennis was a great help to me last year. And, he's one of those guys that he's real good with the players. He's one of those guys that knows the running back position because he played it, as you said. And he's doing a good job of instilling his toughness in those guys. So he will do a great job with the running backs. And, I miss him in the tight end room, but, everybody has to advance and then move on and grow. So he's doing a great job with that.
Have you changed any aspect of your coaching style since last season?
No, I'm going to be the same guy that I've always been every single day. I try to pride myself on my guys being knowledgeable, smart, tough, and playing with a certain edge and not making a lot of mistakes. I mean, so we have guys in that room this year though that are capable of making plays in the passing game. So I think it's going to be a good year for us. I think we're going to have a room that has depth. And like I said, we can put guys in certain situations and go in and out and have a lot of flexibility in the tight end room.
I might be wrong, Mike, but I think this is the longest you've ever been in one place as a coach. Am I right?
It is.
Has that allowed you to settle in here in any way that you haven't at a previous spot, or is it always sort of year to year and uncertain?
No, it's a journey for me. I mean, that's the beauty of my entire career when you look at it. My wife and I and my kids, we've been a lot of different places. That's why they're able to go out and get their jobs now and be able to live anywhere in the country and not worry about that. I think it's like the perfect storm. We've been through it all, and I love being in Syracuse. This is going into my 5th season. So I've had a good time here, and I've enjoyed it.
When you started this journey, did you think that that's what it was going to be like, and it was going to be, every couple of years finding a new place?
Well, it hadn't hadn't been that way in the past. So, it's, when you stay at one place this long and you go through a couple different coaching staffs, then I think it shows that, you're respected and shows that you're admired in certain ways. And, I take pride in that and I appreciate it. But like I said, I've loved being in Syracuse, and I think this is a great place. And I've grown as a coach here, grown as a person, all those different things, but I've enjoyed it, so it's been fun.
Heading into year 5 as a coach here, what's the biggest lesson that you've learned being a coach at Syracuse?
I wouldn't say there's anything that I've learned by being in Syracuse. I think Syracuse, when I first got here, I didn't know what to expect from the weather. But the one thing that I've learned, it's like put on a beanie, put on a big coat. Sometimes you have to wear snow boots. You need a 4-wheel drive. Those things are necessities. But other than that, it's a great place, and I don't mind that at all. And you only get it for a couple months out of the year, so I'm good.
What's impressed you the most about this tight end group?
I think the knowledge that we have in that room. I think some of the young guys are growing up, going into year 2 now, and being in there and learning what we do and how we do it. There's certain footwork that we have to take, certain calls we have to make, certain way we run our routes. And I think being in there, is something that is an advantage. And I think I have 4 or 5 guys now that I can have flexibility with. I always talk about present value versus future value. I always talk about present value being what you look like when you first come in the room with me, and then what you're going to look like 2 years after I coached you. And I think when they get into that second year, I think that's really when you see them take off and really start to be who they're supposed to be.
Noah said he appreciated how specific the plan was when you initially met with him coming to that offense. What was that message to him right when you first recruited him?
Well, we have a standard. We have a championship standard in that room, and basically we have 2 rules in that room. One, we don't want to see your name come across the head coach's desk for anything negative. And then the second thing, we're going to be tough and not take any whippings on the football field. So those are the only 2 rules. And if your name doesn't come across the head coach's desk for anything negative, it covers a lot of ground. So we take pride in that in our room, and we go from there. But we have a good group that really cares about each other. I think David Clement does a great job of leading the young guys, and they all get along. I mean, it's a privilege to have guys like that and be able to coach a group like that.
Take 2 more for Coach Johnson. Mike, you've coached probably every position on offense, I think.
Everything but running back.
Do you have a favorite? Like, is there one that you get a kick out of more than any of the others?
No. I mean, I like coaching tight ends. First time I'd ever coached tight ends was when Coach Brown hired me here. But I believe that coaching quarterbacks is probably my expertise. From being around Norv Turner and Mike Riley and all these guys that were quarterback gurus. And then I've been able to coach wide receivers. So I think being a quarterback helps you coach wide receivers, and then you got to learn the fundamental techniques and things that you do from a drill standpoint. So I think that was an easy transition. But I've enjoyed the tight end room because that kind of puts you in a situation like I was when I was a coordinator. You have to know the run game, you got to know the passing game, and all those things are tied together in our room. So you're tied to both, and I need that type of deal when I'm a guy. I need to think. I need to be able to have things to test me and go from there. But I've enjoyed it, and I've kind of learned and I studied it, and I like it.
What kind of blueprint has OG and Dan Villari specifically the last couple of years left for the next class to follow?
Well, I think OG set the standard high. I think when OG was in there, he was in there with Max Mang and those guys and Dan Villari. And then Dan came in after OG, and he did well, but he didn't have the same kind of year because we had injuries at the quarterback position. But now he's playing with the Rams. I mean, but the standard is going to be the standard. It's always going to be the same way. And then when someone leaves, then the next person is their opportunity to step up. And I think David Clement has stepped into that same role. And he's not the same type of pass receiver that OG is, but he's the same type of leader. And whoever's in the game, they all follow his lead when we're in that room. So he does a great job with that. So it's just a deal. If you've been in there a couple of years, you're going to know how to do it when it's your time. And so, because there's a certain way we do it, and they know it. And then there's a standard in there, and they know what that is. We all practice dart, we all practice CCT, and we all do those things, and everybody flies the right way. And like I said, it always goes back to that one rule. Don't have your name come across the head coach's desk for anything that covers missing classes, that covers missing meals, missing study table, training hall, all those different things. It covers everything. So we take pride in that.
All right. Thank you, Coach.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Thanks, Mike.